Are you ready?
Dead man walking.
Hey everybody, welcome to Dead Man Collectibles. Today we're going to be going through my final team reveal for Supercoach 2025. Thank you all for coming and having a look and hopefully following along with me throughout the year. So I'll go through each position and sort of just break down sort of why I've picked them, maybe some different options or like sort of the journey I've had over the preseason with them. But before I get into that, I do run a collectibles business. It's Dead Man Collectibles. You can find us at deadmancollectibles.com, on Instagram at Dead Man Collectibles, on Facebook at Dead Man Collectibles. We've got a Facebook group at Dead Man Collectibles community page, and at Whatnot, where we at Dead Man Collectibles, where we'll be opening NRL cards. So I finally got them today. It's the new NRL Traders titanium boxes. So I'll be opening those pretty regularly at the start of the season at least, and see how we go. But obviously I have wrestling cards, I have NBA cards, EPL, other soccer, basically whatever you're after in terms of sporting stuff. I have a little bit of Pokemon as well, so check us out on those, and if you could like and subscribe this video, that'd be great, and follow us along for the rest of the year. Look, normally when I build a team, I start with the fullbacks, but, if I'm doing a team reveal, I think it's just easy to start at the top and work our way down. So, look, realistically, we're obviously starting off with Connor Watson here. The reason why I've picked him is I think he's got a lot of... Well, the Roosters are going to be struggling this year, I think. They're not going to make top 4. I don't even know if they'll make top 8. I think if they make the top 8 this year, it's going to be fantastic for them. So I think that they're lacking in experience. I think he brings experience. I think they're lacking in creativity, especially when... Or they will be when the Walker's out. So, yeah, Watson, I just think he's got the potential to go big. And look, I'm a South fan, but I have to say I do enjoy watching him play. He's a good footy player. So, yeah, I'm going to go with him. And obviously I'm going double hooker as well with, double hooker. That's for another time. We've got a double rooster in terms of Smith in the reserve hooker spot. Look, I think he's the best of the bunch, basically. You could go with Pags, you could go with Mamazoulos. I just think that Smith is... he's more guaranteed to get money and make money than the rest of them. He's going to be playing likely 80 minutes at least, and in a halfback role with a team with some attacking threat. Their backline's still pretty good. It's just, the experience is questionable, and the forwards are a bit questionable. So, so I think he's basically a must-have, whether you have him at halfback or at hooker. And the duel just makes it for me, and I will get back to the duel in terms of Watson. But I've also, which you'll see later, I've gone with some other halfbacks, which is why I've put him in the hooker spot. I'll speak about the duel with Watson a little bit later when we get into the 2RF, because I suppose it's a big part of why I've picked him as well. But look, let's go with the front row. Obviously, I'm recording this now on Thursday before the games have started. So, obviously the games have been played in Vegas. So obviously Horsburgh's done pretty well for me at the second front row spot. Originally, Tino, who I've got on the bench, as you can see, was down in the second row, but I've put him up there to make some room for some cheapies, and I'm just not happy with the front row selection. I'll go back to the start though. So obviously May, I think he's a must-have. I think that the last time I saw it was only 52% that owned him. I'm hoping for them that it's just because they haven't updated the team yet, but yeah, I just think he needs to be in there. Um, I was so upset that South didn't sign him. I think he was exactly what we needed. So I believe in him that he's got the more than enough ability to be able to be a monster there, and just priced at where he's at, I think it's too, uh, yeah, it's too much to ignore. So we've got also Horsburgh. Like I said, that turned out well for me so far. So fingers crossed with that. Obviously, I've got Tino in, so he's not playing this week. I do have another Titan as well that's not playing this week. Obviously, I'm going to take a little bit of a hit in terms of the points in the first week, which isn't ideal. I wanted to really come out with a bang this year, and I think it's going to be important because we saw last year, even throughout the Origin period, there wasn't a lot of movement. Even if you like had an outstanding week, I just felt like you weren't jumping 5,000 spots or 10,000 spots. You jumped like a couple of thousand and sort of just stagnated there. So um, for the guys that did drop behind early, it was really hard to sort of get up front again. So um, yeah, so that's going a little bit against what I wanted to, but I just think there's too much value there. And more so than wanting to go out in front early, I also want to make sure that I take care of trades. I think that's really uh, my most important factor in regards to how I'm trading this season. Every time I've played, whether it's the season that I ended up in the top, well, that I spent most of the season in the top 100 and then floated down to the top 200 by the end of the year, to last year where I just had a terrible season. Every time I've run out of trades, so I need, and I think realistically in that season when I was in the top 100, top 100 slash top 200 basically for the far majority of the season, I think other people would have run out of trades, and if I'd have just held on and waited another couple of weeks with some of the trades, I could have then made that final stretch. So I want some trades left at the end of the year, and hopefully I can bring myself to not be silly with it. But we'll see how we go. So anyway, so I'm building this team around not making that many trades, right, and being able to trade down the line and have flexibility. So that's also why I made some of the choices, which you'll see. Um, so hence why I was really happy with Horsburgh having the duel there, also Tino having the duel there, and that's also why I've picked, which I'll get into him now, Nafahu White. So uh, I needed someone there. Like, look, ideally, uh, I don't want Hunt really. I don't. The reason I've picked him is because at this point anyway, is because I don't want to enough him, right? But I'm actually getting closer and closer to thinking that that's what I might do, just because I feel like there's no cheapy front row that I'm actually happy with. I don't really know what his role's going to be. I think it's going to be, an impact off the bench. And realistically, if that is the case, I don't see the upside then. Like, I think he might be a slow burn. He might get some extra cash, but I'd probably prefer to put that cash into someone else, wait around to see if a cheapie does pop up in the front row, and then make that trade then to, get some cash in. But I'm not going to do that until I actually see, a cheapie sort of come about. So Hunt, I've just got him in there for now. Like I said, I might swap him out for enough. But regardless, that's why I've got White there, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to swap between Tino, Horsburgh, and White. So I had some, at least if there was enough in the top there, I've still got 4 spots for 4 players that can play front row. Obviously now I've moved into the hookers, so into the second row. So Max Plath. So again, that's a big reason why I've picked Watson, is because I've also picked Matt Plath. I want to be able to swap between them in terms of hooker. I think that's a massive advantage for me, like down the line. That if say let's say in a couple of weeks' time, Hubner just has not performed, I can then bring Watson up and pop in a new cheapie in the like say a Mamul loss or something like that, and I can yeah, like it just gives me flexibility to do things like that. It also gives me a bit of flexibility in terms of up the line. If Smith has performed really well with maxed out, I can get Plath and drop him down there, and then bring someone up as well. So and also with the jewels I do have, which I'll go into it in a little bit, but I've got jewels that can go from basically 5'8" to hooker, sorry, 5'8" to center wing, full um, fullbacks. Well, I've got a flex, but outside of the fullbacks, I don't. Halfbacks, I don't. But second rowers and front rowers, I do, and hooker position, I do. So I've got a fair bit of flexibility to move some guys around, and obviously with injuries and stuff like that, it's even just trying to limit when I do make trades. I'm limiting it down to one trade instead of having to try to do two trades for certain things. So we'll see how we go. But look, that's what I've been thinking. Look, the other hookers, the other second rowers I've got is Hosking. Look, I'm happy with it. Like he didn't score, like he scored well, like he scored what he was supposed to, and I think there was a potential there for him to score more. So, and he was just coming back as well. Like I'm happy that he. Look, I'm indifferent to it. I'm not going to say that he was like like that. I'm really happy with that choice because you know maybe I should have gone a bit lower, and freed up cash to get someone a bit better, or maybe I should have gone higher and dropped someone else to a bit of a cheapie as well. But look, anyway, it's happened, and like I'm not unhappy. He scored pretty well, so like, and he scored a bit better than his BE as long as he's not losing money. Even realistically, if he's getting me 60 every week, I don't care. I'm happy to just have someone in there to, get that. Obviously Tom Gilbert as well. So I'm again pretty happy with him. I think he's been named a captain as well, which really sort of helps. And obviously they've got a lot of faith in him. He just looks like, yeah, he just looks like he's going to grow cash. So I'm keeping him there. Hopefully, I mightn't even have to trade him. Well, obviously maybe during Origin or whatever. But yeah, like I'm hoping I might be able to keep him for a while. Only issue is though that obviously Plath and Gilbert, I don't know if they're actually playing at this point, because there's a cyclone occurring. There's apparently 5 guys that aren't going to travel with the team. They haven't been announced yet. I'm almost certain Nicarima is one, just based off his wife's comments. And there was also another one that was almost certain that was him as well, which I can't remember off the top of my head. So really, I'm hoping they both play. If not, they're supposed to play on Friday night, so I've got a little bit of leeway still, but obviously I'm just keeping real eye close on that. And obviously I've got a bit of money there. Between those two, there's $1 million. So it's not like I don't have flexibility in who I'll bring in. It's just a matter of who and when. Like, at worst case scenario, I'll probably try and get someone that's a bit or cheapie from somewhere, use the flexibility they have, and then even put in like an Eli Katoa or something. So it's like it's not going to end up too bad, but that's what I'm going with at the moment. I mentioned White. Look, again with the Roosters, I just think there's too much. There's too many minutes available there for him not to play and get decent minutes. When Spencer Leniu comes back, that might make things a little bit more challenging. However, injuries are going to happen as well, and he seems pretty good to me, and he's a young fella as well, and the jewel sort of just puts the cherry on top. So I'm happy with him. Geimer, look, I needed to pick another second row for a cheapie. I just wasn't happy with all of them, and I remember him playing last year. He just seemed like a good sort of country boy putting the hard yards in. I suspect that he might be able to get minutes in that Parramatta forward pack. I think NRL Guru mentioned that he had sort of close eye on him as well. And look, I just liked watching him play. So I don't like Parramatta really, and I liked watching him play. So he's someone I'm definitely going to be. I'm happy to have him in there. And look, if he doesn't go great, whatever, that's fine. But essentially we're taking punts on the second row forward cheapies anyway. So I'm happy to at least I'll go down happy watching the bloke I want to succeed. Hopefully succeed, and if he doesn't, well, at least I enjoy watching him play. And then Lockie Hubner, sort of the surprise packet of this week. Wayne's doing his usual thing. Look, it doesn't surprise me with Wayne. Like, he seems to, obviously, just being a South supporter and having to, having watched him for a while, sort of more closely, he does seem to pick guys that he really likes, and he'll just stick with them. And then he'll pick guys that he doesn't like, or doesn't like them playing in a particular position or whatever it is, and he just sort of locks them in. And look, I suppose 9 times out of 10 he's right. So, he's a super coach for the reason. You can't say he's not. So if he's picked Hubner at 13, it's because he thinks he's a bloody good player, and he's obviously taken him with him from the Dolphins as well. Especially considering you've got Duncan there who could play 13, Colin Matangi who has played 13 well, Jai Arrow there who's played 13. Like, obviously we need some more middles and stuff anyway, so those guys need to play elsewhere. But yeah, I just, if he's been named at 13, there's a reason for it, and I'm happy to trust Wayne. And if he ends up not playing the minutes as well, then that means Dallas Duncan's probably played the minutes, which means then that he's probably going to rise in price, and I can just sort of do whatever I need to do to get him in. But I also wanted some South players in there. I actually, when I originally built my team, I had Latrell and Cam Murray, and obviously both of those guys gone for a significant period of time, in Murray the whole season. I had to just completely redo my team. I got a bit disappointed actually, and just sort of didn't want to look at Supercoach for a week, or really even look in NRL stuff, because upset me a bit, because I was sort of like, well, not our season's done, but it's just bad luck, and it's crap for Murray more than anything. So, and Mitchell obviously, but Murray mainly, because he just seems like a genuinely good bloke, and he just isn't having a good run. So, but yeah, so then that's the second row. Halfbacks. So we've got Nathan Cleary, who, look, I would have liked him to score a bit more than that, but he looked fantastic, and realistically, I thought he actually should have scored more than that. He was involved in every try. I know it's about the sweeper and who created the overlap and stuff, but like, realistically, he's setting up every try, right? Like, that's the frustrating part of it, is that he's setting up every try. He's setting up the guy to make and I think he's probably getting not try assists, try contributions, but like, it's his try basically. So, and he almost scored anyway. There was a knock on that he put a kick through that he would have scored if there wasn't a knock on anyway. So, So, and the Sharks are obviously a very good outfit too. So the fact he scored 68, traditionally he doesn't open the season very well either. And he looked very involved, and he set up basically every try as well. I'm happy with it. And I suppose the big thing out of it is that obviously Nico didn't score that well either, and he didn't kick. So I think I'm lucky then that I've picked Duffy instead of Nico, and based off how they both played in Vegas, I'm happy that I paid a little bit more money and picked Cleary. Although Hines looked pretty good, I was a bit nervous when he sort of that set up that first try, but and I am still nervous about not owning him, like I am. But the price he's at and not kicking makes me a bit worried, So I'm fingers crossed. I'm hoping he drops some cash and I can pick him up in a few weeks and make some money there. But we'll see. Obviously Duffy, he looks like, apparently he's kicking too, so like it's a no-brainer to me. But we'll see. Who knows? Like, I don't know anything about him. Apparently he's quite good, but we'll see. And fingers crossed. If he can even get 40s and 50s for me each week, I'll be so happy. And then I can, change that to someone else later, like down the track. Obviously Metcalf was pretty disappointing for everyone that did pick him, but luckily enough, most people picked him, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. Look, I'm impressed that he even scored 12 points. I don't really remember him doing anything. Like, even I don't really remember even like hearing his name whilst the call was happening. Like, I was watching it with my dad and we were talking as well. So it wasn't like, I had my like eyes just glued on the screen, but like, I just didn't even notice him. And I think that that was more the concerning part for me. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll be holding him for a while anyway. Um, I'm not gonna punt him next week. I want to definitely see what he's like next week. Um, and look, it depends how much he's dropping too. If he's not going to drop all that much, I might just because it's more of a matter of who else, right? Like there's the guys that are in the sort of upper tier, but yeah, like it's that's more of a thing. It's like who else, um, but that's also why I've picked the next two guys as well because of that and the news that we had um, uh, about the Parramatta 5'8" um, Dillbags. He, yeah, he, well, Mitchell Moses is out, right? So that's going to change things for him. It's going to change things for that team. And I've had him at 5'8" the whole time. But, Dylan Brown's just, when he's had to be in charge, he just doesn't scream, and the number one playmaker, he just doesn't scream to me to be someone I want in the team. And he's expensive too. So, um, yeah, I just for the amount of money that he was, I think he's like 650 ish around there. For that money, I want someone that I know I could pick him. He's staying there. He's going to score well for me every week, and I don't have to think about it. It made me think about it with the Moses stuff. So, and also, I'd heard about that injury earlier, like probably not injury, the soreness or whatever. I think I was watching something from the Supercoach physio, but that was would at least say 3 or 4 or 2 to 3 weeks ago, somewhere around that, around that. So I I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, that's why he's not playing the trials, whatever. And then suddenly he's now not playing. So I think the fact they've kept it so quiet and obviously it must just be a pain tolerance thing. And I suppose they're probably just keeping it easy with him as well. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's coming back next week. That's the thing. So if it's 2 weeks with it, especially, and there's no guarantee that it's not, then yeah, I don't. I think I had to move him on, which obviously freed up a bit of cash elsewhere. Now Garrick, I had him. Oh, sorry, I forgot to even mention. So that's why I've picked AJ Brimson. So I did have AJ Brimson in the center wing spot, but I moved him in there because I don't know who else to. I don't really want anyone else, right? Like I think what I don't. Munster's probably the only one. Munster is someone that I would pick. Um, but the buy in round two scares me because I've already got uh, Brimson and Tino, so I've already got like a decent amount of money out, like over $1 million out. I don't want another huge guy out too, so yeah, I'm a bit nervous about that. Um, but saying that, we've got uh, that's why I've moved Brimson up there, but also that's why I've picked Dewey as well. Probably wasn't my favourite pick. There's some people that would prefer over him, to be honest, but at least it's giving me that ability as well then to move Dewey into 5'8" and out, and now also with Metcalf, if he's looking shit, I can move um, Dewey to 5'8" as well and keep him as my backup 5'8", and then it opens the wing spot, and then I've got how much is it, like 400 and something K there to play with. So it's not the worst thing in the world anyway. In terms of the center wings, I've got Garrick, who I've had the entire off season. I just really enjoy watching him play, and I think Manly have got a super good run to start off with, as well as being at home for most of that. So not only do I just want to watch him play, I just, yeah, his kicking ability as well. Like I just, to me, he was close to a must-have anyway. It's frustrating now that I had him literally my first team build. I put him in. I'm it's frustrating now that everyone is picking him, so he's not really like a pod at all. So, but anyway, look, it is what it is. Um, Roger, I'm happy, definitely happy with how that went. Like he almost did nothing to start off with, and got close to 50, and then he got that try. So all he needs to do is be on that field, get a couple of attacking stats. Suddenly, we're getting close to 100. So I'm very happy I picked him. That worked out well. I was really tossing up between him and the center as well, Lalia, I think it is. Like started with L. He didn't look great to me at all. So I am happy I spent the extra bit of money there. Campbell Graham. Sorry, make this a bit easier. Campbell Graham as well. I don't know if I'm going to keep him or not. I've had him in the whole, or I had him in the whole preseason up until that injury happened. So I just assumed he was out. Right now, apparently now he's back. My gut tells me I shouldn't, but I want him. So we'll see how we go. But my gut's telling me I shouldn't. So the problem is I want someone else good there, and it means that I'll have to drop. I'll need to create cash. So literally, as I've been talking, the only thing I've been thinking is I might nuff Royce Hunt up there, take that cash, add it onto Graham, and I've got 70k spare. Maybe that'll get me up to another gun centre wing, and if I'll do that, I will make that swap if I can. And then I can move around some other pieces, and then get another 5'8" in there maybe if Metcalf does okay and bring Brimson back up, because ideally I would like Brimson up in the centre wing spot, but if I have Dewey and him, I don't really mind because I can swap them, obviously. Yeah, and as I was saying about Dewey as well, like I do think that I went to the same school as him. Like he was a few years below me, obviously, unfortunately. And so I was really happy when he went to South as well, and so I've just really been focused on his career. I think if he's kicking, and now there's way more upside with the Tigers as well, it's just more about staying on the field for him. His price is pretty good. I'm happy to keep him there and have a punt and see how he goes. And he does really help with the 5'8" spot. Purdue looks good. We all knew that there was an open centre wing spot up there. It's just a matter of whose it was, and it looks like it's his now. So happy to keep him there. I'm going to play him this week. Shabetsky, I'm not loving it, but he's at the Broncos. They're playing the Roosters, who aren't looking fantastic defensively. Hopefully he just does a job for us, makes some cash, punts him. But we'll see. And Toya, Guru's been all over him. I like picking guys that I enjoy watching, and from what I've seen of him, I think he's going to look good. But obviously there's Billy Smith coming back. Is he going to hold that spot? That's the only thing for me. But look, I think it's worth taking the punt. And, realistically, there's going to be injuries anyway. Unfortunately, with Billy Smith, he's just as likely to get injured again. I'm happy to leave him there. And, even if he doesn't play for a few weeks, whatever, we'll work that out. Fullbacks, and this is probably the most obvious sort of thing. So I'm quite vanilla here. Turbo at in the flex spot at captain, I think he's the best Supercoach player, without question. Probably to me, then it's Latrell and Cleary are the next two. Maybe Ponga is pushing those two, but Travojevic is just out and out gun. I'm too scared not to have him, and I'm too scared not to captain him. So if he doesn't go well, someone else goes well, and I captain Turbo, I know that's inevitably the smart thing to do. You know, and it's at 4 Pines against North Queensland. Like, it's no-brainer to me. Obviously, I started with Latrell as well, but obviously that's had to change. I was tossing up between not going, and at first I wasn't actually going to go with Aongi, and I was basically, at the start, I was trying to work out how I could do Travojevic, Ponga, and Latrell. Obviously, Latrell made that decision for me, and now he's injured. I didn't have to pick that. I thought there was too much risk with the other sort of more expensive fullbacks. Because of their prices, really. So Aongi I just felt like my team looked better with him in it. But obviously Ponga was always then the third option for me. So I was happy in a way that I made the decision for me. So I just popped Ponga in and worked out well. So yeah, and especially the first 5 or so weeks, I do really think he's going to score well. So we'll see how we go. But and then Aongi, again, like, just because of the price. Obviously, I wasn't super happy hearing that Moses was out. That sort of makes things a bit more annoying. But I still, realistically, Moses is going to come back. He's going to, it'll be fine. So anyway, that's where we're up to. And I suppose the other thing is I've got 70k still available. So obviously, I'm not super happy with that predicted number, but obviously the predictions are a bit, useless at the end of the day. But yeah, that's where we're sitting. So thank you very much. So hopefully I'll be doing one video a week and just sort of going through what we're doing. I'm not sure if I'll do a live or not. I might just stick it to this. But yeah, thank you very much for staying to the end. Again, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. If you could also check us out on Instagram at Deadman Collectibles, on Facebook at Deadman Collectibles, at our Facebook group is Deadman Collectibles Community Group, on Whatnot at Deadman Collectibles, and our website, www.deadmancollectibles.com. So thanks so much, and good luck with everyone, Supercoach. If I've made any big errors, or you think I've made a dumb decision or whatever, or you think I've made a perfectly reasonable decision, chuck it down in the comments. So thanks so much, everyone. Good luck this week. Bye.
Dead man walking.
For life.